G'day guys, what's going on? Supero here. Hopefully everyone's going really well and excited for footy season to start back up. Obviously, opening round is just finished, so going to go over my updated side before round one. The team could still actually change just before round one starts on the Thursday night with the team sheets coming out. But I think this is the team that I'll most likely be going forward with in round one. But for the moment, I'll just go over the old side before the round zero games. So we've got a few guys in here that didn't go too well, like Sheldrick. He got 32, so might be unlikely that he does get another game for the Swans. I think he got subbed out at three-quarter time, so I'm not too sure about him maintaining his spot in the team. So for the moment, we'll just get him out of the side. Some of the other guys that I'm kind of worried about is Perryman. With like Will Day and Callaghan popping up out of nowhere, we might just actually have a quick look at the matches here. So, the Friday night, Sydney versus Hawthorn. Roberts, we already had him, so he's more of a lock now. He's going to make us heaps of cash and score well, hopefully. If he can score like this every week, that would be unbelievable, but we'll have to wait and see. Blakey, I haven't really looked too much into. Much rather have Roberts, just for value-wise anyway. And then Warner. I think Warner's actually a pretty good value option as well. Like, he's around that 550k mark. Could make us a fair bit of money. He looks pretty fit and ready to go. He could be in for a massive year. Still hasn't signed a contract with Sydney yet, so he's going to be wanting the big money and, going to be scoring well in SuperCoach, you would imagine. So he's someone that you might want to consider, but for me, probably won't go there. But, he could be an option, like if you wanted to be a bit ballsy and swap Sarong for Warner. I don't mind it, but I probably wouldn't do it. And then you got to think that he's going to be a top 8 uber premium midfielder, which he definitely could be, but I'm not too sure about that, so I'm probably going to steer clear from that. Heaney, I thought he would have done a little bit better, but I swear he was getting tagged for majority of the game, so that's no good. Rowbottom, pretty irrelevant. Grundy was pretty poor, to be honest. I didn't really notice him that much. We got Patton here. Looks like a good rookie option. Lloyd, pretty bad from him. Not really relevant either. And then Sheldrick, kind of a bit upsetting to see him score pretty badly, which isn't the greatest. Hawthorn side of things. So Newcombe only scored like 90. I thought he looked really good, but I think he was playing a fair bit up forward, so that affected his scoring. Sicily was an option to consider during the pre-season, but not too sure about him. He did play a little bit forward in the game, but probably won't look to start him. Amon scored all right, but haven't really looked too closely at him. Probably not really in the starting team, I wouldn't imagine, for my SuperCoach team. But then we got Meek. I don't mind the pick in Meek. I think he looked really good. I actually thought he should have scored a little bit higher than he did. But yeah, he dominated Grundy. Looked like a really good pick. He does have the round 4 bye, though. That's the only thing that I'm concerned about. And then Will Day went nuts, so I think we need to bring Will Day into the team, obviously. And yeah, if we have a look at DFS, inside mids, the matchup, I went over this in one of my shorts, I believe. So Hawthorn, they've got this run here where it's like 4 greens in a row and then like a lighter green. So that's in round 6, and he might be getting tagged here. Got Essendon in round 1, so it should go pretty nice. Like, give us a great score. He'll get tagged most likely by GWS in round 3. And then he's got his bye, and then he'll probably get tagged again. But this part here is really exciting, I reckon. I think he'll go up to like 600k easily, especially with the score that he's already pumped out with the 148. I think you just have to start him at this point. Like, it's worth the risk. And then we got the GWS game. So Callaghan, he absolutely dominated. Taylor did pretty well as well, which was unexpected. And Callie's looking pretty good. Lockie Ash is another guy, so probably has put me off going for Whitfield now with Ash outscoring him. Not too sure how they're going to distribute the points down back, but I probably wouldn't go for either of them, but I don't mind Asher as a value pick if you want to have a bit of a ballsy pick there. It probably will work out for you. I've got him in draft, so I'll probably monitor him throughout the season. If I do want to bring him in later, I could do that. A few of the rookies went pretty well. I think I'm not too sure about how much he is, or a bit more expensive. But the main guys, like, who was it? Leak, he went well with the 64, so someone that we can start in the defender line. That's pretty nice. And Stone is another guy we can start in the forward line as well. So a few options here, which is good. So we don't have to pay up for rookies necessarily. Darcy Cameron, pretty shocked about that score, 164. That's nuts. But Briggs did go down early, so he's going to be out for 2 weeks, I believe, with concussion. Perryman didn't go too good, and Dacos, I think, was injured with a 66, so that puts me off him completely. So, yeah, he'll definitely drop in price now with the 66. You can't really start him now. I think he won't be playing for a couple of weeks, you would imagine. But does that mean that Perryman's going to get more midfield minutes with Dacos going down? The team just looked pretty old. Like, Collingwood looked pretty old in terms of, like, their players didn't look that good. You know, they looked pretty slow, but who knows, could they be like a 22 Geelong where they looked old? But I think it's unlikely. They actually do look fairly old in this case. I actually thought they would beat GWS with my tips. Didn't even get one right this week, so that's no good. But, yeah, I guess it's opening round. You just got to figure out what teams are going to be like for the remainder of the season. But, you know, first game of the season, I'll give them a little bit, cut some slack from them there. But, you know, I'm not too sure about Collingwood now. Perryman might get more midfield minutes if Dacos is going to miss a fair bit of the starting couple of rounds. Anyway, so I'm really questioning if I do want to start Perryman, or maybe I use that money to get someone else like Callaghan, who's like the main midfielder at GWS, which I think that's what I'll probably lean towards. So I'll just get rid of him for the moment. Could get more time in the midfield though if Dacos is going to be out. And then yeah, I'm going to get rid of Bice because he didn't play. So we want some rookies that are going to make us cash like straight away. So he didn't play, so no point starting him. Petrarca, I don't mind him as a pick. I think he can do well for us if you want to start him. He's probably undervalued for his price, but me personally, I think I won't start him anymore. Just we'll have to wait and see how he goes. You know, he's got about 6 weeks until he gets TPP status. If he does get forward status, then definitely will be the guy I'll bring in round 6. But I think if we've got time, we can, you know, do some swaps, you know, and maybe get him in later on if he is going to be scoring well. But to start him, I think we've got a bit of time just to play out, wait and see how he scores. We can always get him in later, but I think that's the play there. Sullivan, I've got cold feet with him. I'm not too sure about his role with, you know, Simpkin and all that in the midfield. So, and Luke Parker didn't play in the practice game either. So I think I'll probably get rid of him. Just not too sure about him. I'd probably just rather start like Levi Ashcroft, even though, you know, there is like more mids that are really good at Brisbane. I think that he's more likely to score better than like those guys. SuperCoach is a bit broken apparently because he's got the nice fixture. You know, he got the Eagles, the Cats. He should do it right against them, and Richmond like back to back. So should be able to get some 90s. You would imagine, which would be nice to help his cash gen start going. Sardis is definitely a start. Sheldrick, we'll just get rid of him as well for the moment. A bit of a team restructure, I think, is coming. Kako, I think I'm going to have to put him into the forward line. Patton here, I think I'll need him down back if I'm not going to start Perryman. I'm not too sure about Hewitt. I don't think he played in the practice game, so he's probably a last-minute call. If he's right for round 1 on the team sheets, we'll bring him in, but not too sure about him. So for the moment, we'll get rid of him. And then in the forward line, I've kind of skipped over the rucks real quick. I think I'm going to go with my gut and just get rid of Cherry. It's a bit risky. He did really well in the practice game. It was a practice game, though. Who they versed? They versed Flynn, I believe, in the ruck. But still, I think that his matchup for the first 6 weeks is pretty hard. So that you got English, Gawn, Rob, Grundy, Witts, and then Tom de Koning. But there's not very great scores historically there. But he's obviously getting better. But 645k, I probably can't justify it. I think he's someone that I might just look to bring in later on, and I'll probably start de Koning for him instead. He's 46% owned, so I think that's the play I might go with. Leaning more towards this play now. I'm confident in Nank. I think he's going to go nuts for the first couple of weeks, first probably 6 weeks. Down here, I think he'll go very well. So he should be able to compete with Cherry or even do better than him. You could go Lloyd Meek. I think he's actually only 8% owned. It's just because they've got the bye. I think it's round 4. So if you didn't have the bye, I would definitely go there. But it does have that round 4 bye, so that's kind of a turn off there. Where Nank doesn't have a bye till round 15, I believe. So we'll just grab Nank. I like Nank, so yeah, we'll go with him. The other concern for me is in the forward line with Bailey Smith. So if we go over to Instagram over here, he's got some tape around his knee area. So it's a bit concerning for me. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but this was the recent training drill. He's in the training. I think it's just a bit of soreness, but do we still want to start him? He may be getting managed throughout the season if he's going to be a bit sore, So... And Chris Scott likes to manage his players. But for the moment, I'm going to wait until round 1. Well, actually, scrap that. I'll just get rid of Bailey Smith now. But if he's in the team round 1, I might have to configure my side. But for the moment, I'm not sure if he's actually going to be playing round 1 or not. They may just ease him into it with that soreness. So, yeah, just notice this. Not too sure about it. He might not be playing with high intensity with a bit of soreness, but he could still score very well for us. He's still highly owned, but for the moment, I don't see him in my round 1 team unless he's named. Probably a last-minute decision there. But yeah, if I'm not going to be starting Bailey Smith, I want to have a pretty decent forward line. So I'll have to keep Garcia. I think we need someone in the team that's on the field that can score 80 plus. So I think Garcia is going to be that guy. And then we'll also have to grab some other guys that, because we're going to expose the forward line and the back line now. So we're going to have to get some guys in that should be able to score 70 plus at least if we're going to be fielding them. So Davidson will keep him on the field. Hopefully he can score well with Bont out. But in the forward line, I think we'll get Pal Pepper. Obviously, everyone has been saying he's in the leadership team. And yes, he's got a very nice fixture for the first couple of weeks. So I think that he should be able to pump out some 70s. You would imagine that he's actually playing round 1. So shouldn't be too concerned about him getting dropped out of the team. So that will be probably how I'll line up in the forward line for players on the field. And then to cover, I'll probably get Kako. I'll move him down into the forward line just in case Davidson starts scoring poorly. I'll have Kako there as backup. Not too sure how he'll score. Looks like he'll score well, but he did kick four goals in the practice game, which I don't know if he's going to replicate that every game. Not too sure. And then I think we'll just bottom out and just grab the other Essendon bloke in Edwards. I think, he should be able to get a game. He scored well in the match simulation, but not too good in the practice game, but he could very well get games. And then we'll keep Boyd. I think if Marshall's not playing, that'll be awesome, but if he is, maybe we try and get him to Reedy if we can free up some extra cash somewhere else. But back into the midfield, we'll keep Nevitt. Who else have I got here? So we'll grab the rookie, the Carlton man, Lucas, Camprioli, put him into the team. He's meant to be making his debut for round 1, so that'll be nice. And then go back to the highest players here. So I think I like the look of Sarong. So, he hasn't had the greatest scores in the preseason games or like the match simulation. So I think not too sure about it. Paying up 623k, the fixture is there. I still have faith that he is a Brownlow contender this year. But yeah, I think that even if he does cop some attention, he'll score well for us. And he's got Richmond and West Coast, and the Cats as well. So I think he should go nuts. First couple of rounds, he's a premium, someone that is a top 8 defender in my top 8 midfielder in my opinion, a keeper. Whereas like Brayshaw, I'm not too sure if he's a keeper. I'm 100% certain that Sarong is a keeper, but Brayshaw definitely could be a keeper as well. But I'm just going to select Sarong because I know he's a keeper in my opinion. And then this leaves us with 2 more spots in the midfield here. So I'm going to have to bring in the value guys, which are Will Day, 33% ownership now, which is ridiculous, but you have to start him, I reckon, because he's got that 148, going to go up in cash heaps straight away. He's got that nice matchup that I've mentioned here coming from round 6 to round 10, so he'll probably most likely go absolutely nuts in those games. Could be some VC captain option scores from them. And then we've got to get Callaghan, I think. Even though he does have the bye in round 2, I think you just got to pick him as well. 144. He's the main guy in the GWS midfield. Even though Tom Green's out, don't think he's coming back until round 5, which is a bit later on in the season. He could get tagged actually against. Most likely he'll get tagged by Hawthorn in round 3. That's after his bye. So don't know if he's probably not going to go up in price actually. Yeah, he's not going to go up in price until the Hawthorn game, but then he'll get tagged. He'll probably get heavily tagged. Who knows? Newcomb might be getting tagged as well. Maybe they do a split, but I think you just have to start him because you've got West Coast coming up, and then from round 6 to 10, most favourable for midfielders. So I think it lines up for me personally to start him. And then in defence, we're going to have to drop down to some rookies here. I think we'll keep Pryor though, just because he should have the job security and the ability to score well. And then I'm just having a look at who else I would pick in defence. Who else would it be? It would be Leak, 53% ownership. Scored well, so he's going to make us some cash, which is good. Shouldn't be getting dropped from the team. They just whacked Collingwood, so very unlikely that he'll get dropped. And then the other guy must be Patton. Where is he? There he is. 23% ownership with the 67. So leaves me with 7k there. Probably field Patton and maybe Reed and Pryor. And then we'll put Callaghan on the field. I think that's how the team will line up. I've got a keeper in Sheasel. McGovern will be a keeper. Short, not sure if he's going to be a keeper. Neil's a keeper. Sarong's a keeper. Oliver's most likely going to be a keeper. Nankervis, and then we got Horn, Francis, McRae, and Daniel. I'd imagine they would all be keepers. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 keepers is a bit concerning. Short or Roberts might be a keeper, so we'll put 10 there. And then, we got Day or maybe Day or Callaghan. Not too sure if he'll be a keeper, but someone that we can swap into a keeper pretty easily if he starts scoring bad when Tom Green comes back. But at 441k, he'll make us heaps of coin, and then we can just swap him to a keeper later on if we want to do that. But he looks really good. He looks like he's had a good preseason. Looks like he can score well. He's going to be in the midfield ahead of like Cornelio and Josh Kelly. I'd imagine Callaghan is like number 2 guy. Like even with Green in the team, he should be number 2 or number 1. He just looks really good this year, so I think he's worth taking the punt on. And then we have a look at the bye structure, so missing Callaghan there, so we can field Nevitt if he's playing, or just take Flynn's score. Shouldn't be too much of a worry there. Round 3, just have Roberts, so Leake can cover. Not too bad. Round 4 is a bit of a concern though. Going to have to field a couple rookies, which we can cover there. Not too bad either. And then round 12 is obviously the worst bye round, but Pitnet might be back by then, so we could just swap him to Cherry if he's dropped in price, which is probably the ideal thing to do there. Or we could go for someone like Gawn if he's dropped in price, but not sure if that'll happen. He most likely will drop in price anyway. And Chera, that's another guy we could probably get rid of around round 12 if he's starting to drop off a bit. But he could also be a luxury upgrade at the end of the season. So haven't really thought too much about round 12 for the bye yet. These guys will probably be gone by then. Then we have some other guys that can cover. So that's still an area I need to think about. 13 isn't too bad. Got some cover options if they're going to still be in the side by then. Around 14, only 2, so you'd imagine we're trying to free up some cash by then. I think the buy rounds aren't too bad. I think it's pretty decent. Yeah, I think I've managed to get a team that's pretty decent for the buy rounds. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see when they actually do come, how we're going to line up then. But not too bad. Who are we thinking for VCC? I probably had the VC on Nank, honestly, against De Koning. I think he could go nuts, 150 at least. And then Neil, maybe not. He'll probably get tagged. Hawthorn, Will Day could even be an option for the C if you want to be a bit more risky. Historically, has he gone well? Not really. Essendon, I don't really have anyone from Essendon. Cats, that's the only thing about this side is I'm a Cats supporter. I probably want to start someone from Geelong. Like, is it Holmes or is it Tom Stewart? Is it Bailey Smith? Probably Bailey Smith. Not too sure how I'd get him in the team. I'd probably have to get rid of Garcia, Palpepper and Pryor and someone else to try and get him into the team there. Maybe Callaghan, but Callaghan looks like he's really good value at the moment. Who would I put the C on? It's not very clear. Maybe Sarong, in the hopes that he doesn't get tagged. He could go 150, I would imagine, but fair chance he'll probably get tagged against the Cats. And then we haven't considered Oliver, but someone's going to get tagged. It'll be either Petrarca or Oliver will be getting the Bedford tag straight away. Hopefully it is Petrarca for our situation here, so he does drop in price. Who else have we got here? Don't really have anyone from... I don't have Zorko. I probably wouldn't be picking Zorko personally just because he is a bit older. He's turned 36. I think I'd rather go with McGovern here. 2% ownership, so more of a pod. I think, he had 11 kick-ins in the practice game, which is ridiculous, and got the round 15 bye, which is nice. Zorko does have the round 16 bye, but I think McGovern, I just prefer him. I'm not too sure. I probably wouldn't go with Whitfield with Ash, and then Luke Ryan, I don't see him scoring as good as last year with Clark in the side, so that leaves me down to McGovern. Otherwise, I haven't really considered any of these guys. I've considered Max Holmes, which I don't mind, but still not 100% sure what his role is. And I'd imagine he'd score well in round 1 if Bailey Smith isn't playing, but not too sure. I think I'd just rather go with McGovern, where I know he's going to be a top 8 defender. Well, in my opinion anyway. Bailey Dale's probably one of those guys who's undervalued as well with he'll be getting majority of the kick-ins, you would imagine, at the Bulldogs. And then Tom Stewart's another guy who's popped up recently. I've started to consider him a little bit more than I have in the past. 9% ownership. He does have these massive ceiling games, like not in the last 3 matchups against the opponents, but if you have a look here in like the higher scores, he's got 187 there, 174, St Kilda, pretty good matchups for defenders and got a nice 152 there. So, yeah, I don't mind it. He's got the high scores. Like his favourite games, or matchup opponents are like Fremantle and Adelaide, which he's going to be playing in the first 6 rounds. So I'm kind of tempted now about Stewart, but I'll probably just watch the press conference that just came out and just trying to figure out how the team is lining up for the Cats if I do want to go there. Also, the team sheets are a factor as well if I want to start him or not. See where he lines up in the team. I think he will play a little bit midfield as well, especially with Guthrie going down again. So he has a nice role for SuperCoach, I would imagine. But for the moment, I'm liking McGovern, where I know he'll be a keeper. That's what I'm going back to. Like Tom Stewart, is he going to be top 8 keeper? Fair chance he could be, but McGovern's more likely to be that guy. I know that Stewart's going to share the kick-ins with Zach Guthrie as well. I think he's going to get more kick-ins. So for the moment, I'm just more leaning towards McGovern. The durability for McGovern is another thing that slightly concerning, but he did play out majority of the last year. So the only thing I'm not sure about with McGovern is his scoring, like his ceiling. I think he can have a higher ceiling this year. That's what is drawing me towards McGovern. I think he can actually have a higher ceiling than his past, where he's only really gone like 155. Isn't really anything higher than that. So is a bit of concern, but I think, with the points distribution at West Coast, he's probably someone that's going to get scaled up because there's not many other people at West Coast that are going to get the points. Maybe someone like a Baker in the forward line, which could affect McGovern, but, I think I'm just going to take the punt on him. I think he's going to get more scaling. He might go from like a 100 to 120 quite easily at West Coast. No one else really will be getting the points, I would imagine. Maybe Harley Reid, but that's why I like McGovern, where like someone like Stewart, he's got other guys like Zach Guthrie taking some kick-ins, and then there's more like points being distributed between like Max Holmes and Jeremy Cameron and stuff like that, where McGovern, there's like not really anyone else that will be taking the points. So I think I'll just pay up for him, I think. But anyway, I think this is how I'm going to line up. Haven't really thought about the captain option just yet. Maybe Horn Francis is someone to consider if Dacos isn't going to be playing. But I'll probably make a captaincy video like just before round 1. I'll probably do a team sheet video on the Thursday night, but the teams will obviously be released on the Wednesday night for the Collingwood game as well. So hopefully we can see Short and Nankervis and De Koning all in the team, which would be good. So just with the rookies, so these guys going to go up and maintain their spot in the side, I would imagine. Reid, you'd think he'd be in the team round 1, same with Pryor. Nevitt, I would imagine, will be in the side. He's had a great pre-season, so he should be in the team. And then Camprioli's already been confirmed. And then Boxall, not too sure, but he did score very well in the practice game. Surprised like most people haven't picked him. Maybe there's something I don't know. Maybe he's got an injury concern, but he's a cheap rookie option, so I'll pick him. And then Boyd will most likely be in the team. Kako will be as well. Same with Davidson. And Edwards, not too sure if he'll be in the team. He's probably the biggest concern there. But he should be likely to get a game. Sardis definitely will. Ashcroft, I would imagine, definitely will as well. So I think we're pretty nicely stacked here. The only thing that is slightly concerning for my team, I think, is not having like a Bulldogs midfielder. I think the Bulldogs midfielders will definitely make a fair bit of coin for us. So if I'm going to make a last-minute change, it probably will be Sarong, but I really don't think I'll get rid of Sarong. I think that I definitely want to start him. But, starting someone like a Liberatore, 4% ownership, he's undervalued. I think he can go 115 at least for the first couple of weeks anyway. So he should be the main guy in the midfield for The Bulldogs, pretty decent matchup. He's got that 196 against highest score ever against Fremantle. 196, pretty nice. I think I'd go Libba over Ed Richards with the calf complaint. It was, I believe, 1% ownership. You could go there as well. Even someone like Sanders, maybe if I can try and fit him into the team. I'm a little bit concerned about not having a Bulldogs, midfielder, but I think the team speaks for itself. I think it looks pretty nice. Honestly, I think pretty happy with the side. I just got to get Sarong back in there, and I believe that Adam Treloar is actually coming back sooner than I expected, so I'll have to double check that one. But yeah, that's the side. Hopefully, you guys are finalising your teams as well. Let me know in the comments if I've got anything wrong and where I should probably consider fixing up. I just need to have these, cheaper guys who are going to get games each week in the forward line just to cover for the rookie scores, because I'm not too sure how the other rookies are going to score. If I don't have these guys, there will be a bit of a bloodbath in the forward line. And then having Flynn in the flex is going to be a saviour for, these spots in the last 2 spots in defence and last 2 spots in the forward line, you would imagine. So if anyone drops a stinker, we've got Flynn here to cover the score. So I think that's how I'm liking the team at the moment. Just take the punt on Callaghan. Hopefully, fingers crossed he doesn't get bloody injured before his price rise, but it's very unlikely. I think he's looking like he's conditioned well for in the preseason. He's looking good. So I feel like he's in for a monster year. The number one midfielder basically is 441k, so why wouldn't you do it? But anyway, I think the league has filled up now, so we've got this one. Yeah, it's filled up, so looking forward to that. Otherwise, I can just go over my tips, which I got none right, which is a bit of a disgrace, honestly, but, it is opening round. I think I'll go with the... who's starting us? So I'll go with the Blues. Obviously, I'm going to tip them by 76 points, which is a bit of overkill. I think they'll absolutely destroy the Tigers. Could be wrong, though. Hawthorn will go with them over the Bombers. Cats, I've gone with my team, obviously, at GMHBA. Could be very close, I would imagine. I'll just go with the Cats, lock that in. I've got the Swans to beat I got the Lions to beat the Swans there. Maybe there's a bounce back from the Swans, but I think the Lions are looking pretty nice, but they have had a pretty limited preseason compared to other teams, so that could be the one where it slips into the Swans' favour. I've actually got an upset here with the Kangaroos beating the Bulldogs, which is a bit questionable. Pretty good odds on Sportsbet. I might actually consider doing that, but you would imagine the Bulldogs would win, but no Bont, no Treloar. Basically just depends on the matchup, when they do come in. I think if North win, it'll be a talking point for... I'll just have that juicy one there anyway. And then I've got the Pies to beat the Power, but looking at it now, I might actually swap over to the Power if Dacos is not going to be playing. And then the Crows to beat the Saints. GWS against the Demons, probably a closer one than you would expect, but I'd still back the Giants in, and then the Suns to beat the Eagles. Questionable one is obviously the Kangaroos, but I think I'll just lock them in for the moment with the depleted midfield for the Bulldogs. I think they could be a good chance of upsetting the Bulldogs in round 1. But yeah, let me know how you guys are lining up for round 1. I think I've gone on for a bit too long, but a bit of a discussion here. Let me know in the comments how your team's lining up. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Like and subscribe for more content. Trying to hit that 700 subscribers by round 2. So hopefully everyone can help me out and subscribe. But much appreciated. Thanks so much. See ya.